Hello you gorgeous donuts. Today we are going to be reacting to the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar because it's going off. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This has overtook my life for like the last 5 days. I know this topic is a little different to what we usually do on the channel, but I need to talk about it. I'm just going to walk you through like how this beef started, and we're going to kind of go through like the timeline of the beef, react to the lyrics and all the songs, and at the end I'm going to give you my opinion on who I think is taking the W. Most of the recent drama is stemmed from a song that Drake and J. Cole did called First Person Shooter, and it wasn't actually Drake's line that kind of caused the feud, it was J. Cole's. Oh my god, I know so much about this. These are like my favorite artists. I'm so sad. In this song, they were talking about like the big three rappers, like who are the best, and J. Cole says, is it K. Dot, Kendrick Lamar? Is it Aubrey, Drake? Or me? And he says, we the big three, like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. So basically, J. Cole's basically saying like, them two are good, but I'm the best. And then Kendrick replied in a song that he did with Future and Metro Booming saying, mother the big three, friend, it's just big me. Oh, that's kinda cool though. J. Cole, get out of here. Right, with your long locks, it's just me. And then J. Cole released an album where he had a song on it called 7 Minute Drill, where he kind of dissed Kendrick in it, and then deleted it, and then apologized and basically said, look, like, I'm not about this beef life, like, I know I've said all these things about you, but I'm so sorry. What? J. Cole is one of my favorite artists, and at the time of this, I was like, oh my god, how can I be supporting this? He doesn't even stand on his truth. Honestly, I was devastated when he did this. I was like, oh my god, this is like, I feel like I'm having an identity crisis here. What is my goat doing? He's making a mockery of me. How can I go to Lidl and feel confident in myself when my goat's doing this? Genuinely, this like ruined my day. I know I'm sad. I don't leave the house much, as you can probably tell. And this stemmed the best period of probably my life. One of the most iconic exchanges between two artists, especially in like the hip hop genre. So Drake released the song Push Ups, and in this song he's basically taking the out of Kendrick quite a bit. There's various lines in this where he says Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty, referring to when Kendrick Lamar made a song with Maroon 5. Imagine how Adam Levine's feeling now. He's like, what'd you say me for? There's like other lines in here where he's basically saying like he handed Kendrick his first #1. He also tells Metro Boomin to shut your whole ass up and make some drums, which, you know, that couldn't have gone down well in the Metro Boomin household, right? I imagine that would have ruined his evening. Did you touch my drum set? I swear you touched my drum set. Again, I wish I could play this song, but Drake is like copyrighting every single song that like reacts to it. So that man is probably buying a house just off this song. I've heard Kendrick isn't actually copyrighting his songs as well, so I don't know if that gives him like a one-up with YouTubers. He's kind of for the culture. I kind of like it. He's like, no, everybody run their bag up. He also refers to J. Cole in this song, saying he doesn't care what he thinks after he kind of said all of the stuff that he did. And then he just threatens Kendrick saying, this ain't even everything I know, don't wake the demon up. So a little bit of a threat, right? The beef, it's sizzling, right? It's not hot yet, but it's getting there. Oh, this is so good. Anyone else just feel alive right now? And then Kendrick replied with a song called Euphoria, which people have kind of worked out that it's kind of referring to Drake being an executive producer on the show Euphoria. Again, not entirely sure if that was the direct link, but it kind of makes sense. You know, there's a lot of young people on that show. When this dropped, genuinely, I was like, oh, I actually got a semi on. I didn't. That would be weird. More of a quarter, I'd probably say. This song was genuinely, it cut deep for Drake, right? I'm a Drake fan. I'm also a Kendrick Lamar fan. But after this got released, I was like, oh, Drake, I'd probably book into the walk-in centre after this. Feels a little bit deep. In this song, like, Kendrick basically just goes at Drake's throat. He says, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct.
No! What? It just keeps going, Jesus. I was sitting there, right, on me sofa, like, this could be curtains. Drake's got to come back with something, because just the way Kendrick raps, it's like he's putting his whole heart into it. A lot of this song is like attacking like Drake as a person, like what he stands for, who he is, down to his heritage, everything. Like, he goes for his throat. You just know Drake might have like thought this was going to be, you know, kind of like a little tame back and forth. And when Kendrick released this, you know, you would have went, oh, Just going back to that point about, like, he hates the way that Drake walks. Like, how does Drake walk? I've never kind of, like, realised that. Is he one of them people that, like, walks on his tiptoes? Because that gives me the ick. You know, when you see people like that walk on the tiptoes, it's like, why? Why are you doing that? Just walk on your heels. Just please. You're hurting my feelings right now. This has got 15 million views on YouTube, but it's only got released 6 days ago, so that's probably on about 20 million views, you know. I can't imagine YouTube has fully updated this. That is one thing that is quite interesting, is Kendrick is outperforming Drake in terms of numbers on YouTube, which I didn't think he would do. I know he is equally as big, but Drake is just a lot more mainstream and has a lot more, I would say a lot of people that don't even listen to his music probably kind of have heard a Drake song on the radio. So you would be thinking, now Drake is going to reply to this. Well, actually, Kendrick decided just to release another diss track. The man is trying to kill Drake. What are you doing, Kendrick? What did this man do to you? I want to know who on Kendrick's cornflakes, because he just woke up one day and went, I'm just choosing violence, and I don't care what anyone's got to say about it. He released a song called 616 in LA. I thought it was good. There was a few good disses in it. I'd probably say, if I had to rank it with all of the ones that Kendrick's released, it's probably lower down on that list, because what's to come is so much more intense.
Find the jewels like Cash Dog. I just need you.
I can vibe to this. Like, I can imagine this has got a lot of replay value.
You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it.
Which is kind of dark. Like, imagine being Drake and you watch this going, well, which one of yous are whispering that you want us dead? I'm paying all of you. Who was it? Was it you, Mark? I bet it was you. You got my Nando's delivery wrong. And then finally, Drake came back with Family Matters. Oh my God. When this dropped, I was like, come on. This is what I want. It took us to the semi. I've got to stop talking about my guys. Now, I know I can't play any of this song because Drake is copywriting, like, blocking most reaction videos, and I don't know why. He doesn't block Kais and that, though, does he? Are them two fun doing? Probably. And Drake starts this by basically just saying, I'm gonna say the N-word, and he, like, says it so many times, just kind of competing and combating against Kendrick, saying he doesn't like when he uses it, just to piss him off. And I can't lie, Family Matters is actually sick. Like, it's actually, like, such a good diss track. If it was against anyone but Kendrick Lamar, it bodies them. Now, this song's kind of split into, like, 3 different categories. It's like 3 songs in one. The first one's kind of just going at Kendrick. Drake just says, like, you better have receipts for what you're kind of saying. You're making most of it up. A lot of this focuses on Kendrick and his baby mama. He says that Kendrick's baby mama's captions are always screaming, save me. Now, I went onto Whitney's Instagram, who is Kendrick Lamar's baby mama, and a lot of her captions are quite deep, actually. Even as the sun shines on my face and causes me a little discomfort, my mind can reflect on all those dark days and wouldn't have it any other way. Clearly, you know, she's gone through it. The way influencers take photos, like, is just hilarious to me. Like, you know, that she's kind of just went, can you just take a photo of us just, like, looking over there, but just of me side face, just me going like this. Like, it's just weird. There's another one which says, we all know what others see may not be a true reflection of how we feel. This pic is a great representation of how I felt for many years. Now, I don't know what she's kind of referring to here, but she doesn't look too pleased. It's in a very dark room, right? Just turn the lights on, love. I know electricity's high right now, but nothing wrong with a big light. He then goes on to say something like one of Kendrick Lamar's kids isn't actually his. It's a guy called Dave Freeze. And then apparently Kendrick's baby mama doesn't even follow Kendrick on Instagram, but she follows this Dave Freeze. I mean, this is getting so deep right now. Like, ridiculously deep. Like, I don't need to know this. I'm kind of watching it like, should I? It's like being at, you know, your friend's house when, like, the mom's shouting at them. You're like, it's just, it's hot in here, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, you don't know where to look. And the second part, Drake kind of just goes for everybody that's been beefing him, because there's been, like, a lot of, like, side disses to him. A lot from, like, A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross, Kanye, The Weeknd. There's a lot of people. One line that I did think was absolutely hilarious is he says, gassed because you hit my baby mama first. Friend, do the math. Who was I hitting then? Genuinely, when he did this, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, that. Because we all know he's talking about probably shagging Rihanna, who is going out with A$AP Rocky. Oh, why am I so invested in this? This is mental. I'm so sad. It's like, imagine, like, bragging about, like, you know, shagging someone that Drake's had a kid with first, but then Drake's shagged your wife. Oh my god, good god. I mean, you know, if you've went out with Rihanna in the first place, it's kind of a flex for anybody, right? Doesn't matter who got there first. It's the person who's got her now. And then there was the third part where he kind of went back for Kendrick, and this is where he says a line, which again, my jaw just dropped to the floor. It was like I was permanently on pills. He said, they hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. Which basically referring to Kendrick Lamar, you know, doesn't act the best with his wife, which isn't great. Which, again, the one thing that I'm getting with this is I need receipts. I don't know how you get receipts for proving that, but just for everything in general, because there's so much being said, I don't know what's real and what's fake. I feel like a lot of things are being said that are just getting thrown away as if it's a nothing comment, when in reality it's a really serious accusation. Again, Drake, great diss track, right? I thought this is as deep as it'll get. How wrong could I be? Because Kendrick releases this. Meet the Grahams. Obviously, Kendrick already had this, like, planned and, like, edited because it genuinely dropped so soon after Drake dropped his. I actually believe that was tactical because if you think about it, it limits how much people are going to be talking about Drake's. Like, there's only a small window where Drake's is, like, the freshest and newest before Kendrick released. So then most of the focus is going to be on Kendrick. It's kind of genius. These are seasoned pros we're dealing with. Now, the first 2 words of this song, I wish I could have, like, explained the feeling I got. It was like getting told one of your family members has died, and I'm not even kidding. Maybe it's not like a close one, maybe it's like one that you don't really speak to. He started off with this.
Dear Adonis.
Ah! What? That's Drake's son, you evil man. What do you mean, dear Adonis? No, thank you. Not for me. This, could you not just send this in a voice note to him, or an email, right, or whatever, you know, the kids are using these days? How can you start that off with Dear Adonis, Kendrick? I'm gonna need to sit down. I shouldn't have stood up for this video. Basically, Kendrick addresses the start of this song straight to Drake's son. Just cuts Drake out, and, you know, the stuff he says isn't the nicest. He says stuff like, I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a, you know, not the best compliment. Probably could have thought of a couple better. And he basically says, like, Adonis, you're not going to understand this until you're 18. Play it when you're 18, then you're going to know what I'm going on about, which is such a dark thing to say. Like, horrifically dark. You know when, like, Drake tells his son off, or he grounds him or something? Oh my god, I would be playing that on the speakers if I was Drake's son. Anytime my dad pisses off, I'd be like, okay, Dad, meet the Grahams. Full blast, listen to this.
Dear Sandra.
Ah! Bro, he's going through the whole family, not Sandra. Can we not leave Sandra out of this? Nobody named Sandra should be in beef, right? They will fall at the first hurdle. By the way, Sandra is Drake's mom. He's basically going through the family, bodying them one by one. He also then says, dear Dennis, which is Drake's dad, and he kind of goes off on Drake's dad, saying you give birth to a master manipulator, calling him a psychopath, saying you raised a horrible person.
You raised a horrible person. The nerve of you, Dennis. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen.
Oh my god. Like, as a Drake fan, okay, when I was listening to this, I was like, okay, can we just throw the towel in? Can we get the white flag? Please. I remember looking at this, and I was 2 minutes in going, there's still 4 minutes to go. He says that Drake's paying offenders to be on his workforce. Like, this song, okay, body Drake, I can't lie. I've listened to this like 3 times, and when I'm reading the lyrics out now, it's really just hammering home how much he really destroyed him. He then exposes that apparently Drake has a daughter, which he doesn't see, and he hides from the public, which again, like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to kill this man? This man's psoriasis will be flaring up so much right now.
Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world.
And then he addresses the 4th verse at Drake directly. This is the one thing that I love about, like, these diss tracks. They're not like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're 6, 7 minutes. They're Roald Dahl novels. It's like right when you think there's enough, there's not enough. There's never enough. When I heard that, I was like, oh, I don't think Drake can come back from this. This is kind of curtains. Like, surely this is probably the last thing that Kendrick's gonna release. Well, how wrong was I? Because Kendrick then decided to release another one without a Drake response. Oh my lord. This is gonna go down in history. Can you see why I was obsessed now? And yeah, I'm not going to lie. This one might be the darkest one. So just before we get into it, the photo that Kendrick actually used is the photo of Drake's actual house. He just leaked his address, and he's got all these markings on it, which I think alludes to like defenders that are like habiting in this house. I can't lie, this is probably the best song Kendrick's done in terms of like replay value. Like, I'm probably not going to listen to Meet the Grahams that much in like a year or 2 years time. I will remember it as like a great diss track, but as a song, Not Like Us is just undefeated. In this one, he kind of heavily focuses on Drake being a which is great news for Drake. I bet he's buzzing about that. He says, "Say Drake, I hear you like 'em young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. I bet that went down lovely in the Drake household, right? I bet they were all just buzzing off their and I feel like in this one, like, Kendrick actually loses it. He just kind of goes, F this. Like, I'm ending it right here, right now. I've got the high ground.
Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
What the f do you even say to that? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. I'm sorry, but whether Drake is a or not, that is just such a good line. You know, when he wrote that down on his little notepad, he was like, that's good, that though, innit? That's why I get paid the big bucks, guys. That's why I'm Kendrick Lamar. I know I've said this like 4 times, but he's trying to go for Drake's throat. Like, Drake's on the floor, right? And he's just continued to stomp on him. One thing I do want to say about this is Kendrick is like doing so good in this beef. A lot of Kendrick's fans won't acknowledge that Drake's diss tracks have also been good. They're like, nah, Drake it's like, they weren't though. They were good. You can still like Drake's diss tracks if you support Kendrick Lamar, but it seems like a lot of Kendrick's fans love hating on Drake. Now, I'm just buzzing that we've got 2 of the biggest and best artists going at each other. Drake's made Kendrick release music. That's a good thing. We should be praising Drake as well.
Let me hear you say OV-ho. OV-ho. Say OV-ho. OV-ho.
He's having fun now. Kendrick himself feels like he's dancing on the grave of Drake right now. He feels like he's dead and buried him. At this point, before Not Like Us was released, my favourite one was Family Matters, but I feel like Not Like Us takes the throne for the best diss track so far. Now, is that the end of it? It's not. Still one more, guys. There's one more. Drake then released The Heart Part 6 in retaliation to Kendrick. Now, with this one, I actually thought this was... Bearing in mind, he's got a lot to respond to with what Kendrick said. I feel like Drake did as best as he could in this. He doesn't really go at Kendrick. It's more like defense. It's more like he's reading it out in court. It's like he's acting as his lawyer in this one, which I guess is all he could do. Like, he just had to put out all of these fires that Kendrick is hitting him with, which maybe means like there might be in the coming days more coming out where he'll go more offensive rather than defensive. A couple of things in this one that I thought was quite interesting was obviously Kendrick alluded to Drake having a daughter that he doesn't see, and in this song Drake says, "We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation." Now, if that is true, and if somehow Drake is this mastermind where he has fed Kendrick this information, Kendrick's released a song based, a lot of his diss is about that, Kendrick has relied heavily on that carrying the song, then that is quite big. To me, when I heard that, I was thinking, wait, is Kendrick just kind of saying anything to kind of destroy Drake? Like, where is the receipts? Again, we need the receipts for these lyrics. To me now, I'm just thinking, wow, most of this is just smoke. There's hardly any facts in this. They're just saying anything to take each other down. And the speed that Kendrick is releasing these diss tracks, because he's hot on this, surely doesn't have enough time to really fact check this thing. He might just hear it and go, yeah, is this true? Bang, put it in the song. So if Drake has done this brings him totally back level with Kendrick. Drake then goes on to say more about Kendrick's baby mama, about how she doesn't follow him. The real dad of one of his kids is like commenting underneath all our photos. I've kind of already said this. It's good, but it's nothing new. He then goes on to say this Epstein angle was the I expected. A little bit of a weird line. Why would you expect that? Then goes on to say, I've never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this is the angle that you mess with. Again, this is such a deep accusation against Drake. Like, people are going, well, you can't, that's not a defense for it. It's like, what can he really say in a song? I'm not trying to defend him, but I'm just saying, he's basically coming out and saying this is bullshit. You need the receipts, but it's like, how do you get the receipts? There's so much stuff. There was some like dodgy lines that he said in his defense, which I just don't really think stand up. Like, I'm way too famous for this you just suggested. It's like, well, that's not really a defense though, because like Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, right? Or why do they rhyme as well? Anyone with the surname that rhymes with Steen, we're looking at you. A lot of the time, the most famous people have the power. Like, look at P. Diddy. Like, this man is insanely famous and he's doing all this dodgy shit. That's not really a defense. One thing I do have to rate with Drake is Kendrick would have broke 99.9% of rappers, never mind rappers, people, right? The accusations, everything, like how good his songs were. The fact Drake just seems unbothered by this is kind of chilling. That man has took about 40 bullets and is like, yeah, I'm just going to go on holiday now and just kind of wait until this all blows over. Some of the TikToks, like, have been just making me laugh so much. Like, this is my favorite beef ever.
And you got small feet, All right, time to wait for him to respond. I'm sure whatever he says will just be some fun, good-natured jokes.
I hate the way that you look. I hate the way that your forehead crinkles. I hate the way that your chains fall on your neck. Hold up, wait. I'm gonna switch up the beat real quick.
Another beat? Kendrick.
I hate your stupid haircut. I hate the way your fingers are long. I hate the way...
Oh my god, you know that would have been awful though. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in both of their houses when they're listening to the other person's. Oh my god. Now, I did say at the start of the video I was going to give my verdict on who I think is winning to this point. I'm not gonna lie, okay, before this beef started, I did listen to Drake more than Kendrick. I do like Kendrick. But going into this beef, I was like, I hope Drake gives a good account of himself. And I still like Drake after it. As long as all those accusations are proven to be false, which he says they are, but I'm not too sure. Also, the accusations against Kendrick, Jesus Christ. Putting my bias aside, I believe that Kendrick is beating him currently in the beef because it's just relentless. Like, there's so many things he's saying. But, again, if Drake can disprove these things, like he did with the daughter, then that kind of makes Kendrick's disses void. But I am going to go with Kendrick so far. Oh, guys, if you want me to keep like you up to date with this beef and do like a follow-up video, like 2,000 likes on this. I know it was a little bit of a different topic, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see me react to some more drama, why don't you click right here, because this video is absolutely mental.
Kirkham, baby.